A day in my life as an accountancy student.
Uy, alam na si Sir!
What is IFRS 16?
What is IFRS 16? Sino si lessor? Sino si lessee? Ano ang sublease? Financing? Operating? Initial? Subsequent?
Welcome to Anton's Accounting Lecture. Ang accounting discussion online na classroom approach. Hindi review, kundi personally. Kaya asahan na mayroong konting jokes, kwento, at kung ano-ano pang segue na nangyayari o hindi nangyayari sa normal na klase. Uy, Sir Minyor! So, IFRS 16. IFRS 16 talks about lease accounting. And lease accounting have two parties. We have the lessee, ang tinatawag sa mga taong gumagamit ng underlying asset at nagbabayad ng consideration.
Ang lessor naman ay ang nagpapaupa at ang tumatanggap ng consideration.
We are the lessor. Of course, kami ang nagpapaupa.
We are the lessor. Of course, responsible kami for maintaining the property and making repairs.
Ma'am, nagubo ang grade po.
Ay, ang buta pa ba? Ida na tamad na ko.
Pakalalang mag-ungalan lady sa Shopee.
We are the lessors. Of course, seldom known ng lessee ang ginagamit namin na implicit rate for earnings. Kailangan ko na yung balaw. Hindi naman yata. We are the lessee. Of course, kami ang namupa.
Da, ang babaw ay makatapaitan!
Bakit nga ba namupa ang mga lessees? First, most lessees are structured as financing transaction. So instead na magpakal sila sa isang asset, ginaupahan na lang nila kay mas barato mag-upa kaysa sa magpakal. Second, lease have more flexible terms compared to bank financing. Subsequent measurement of lease liability. Tataas ang ating carrying amount to reflect the interest in the lease liability. Bababa naman natin carrying amount to reflect the lease liability payments. Then, gagamit naman tayo ng amortization table when we subsequently measuring the lease liability. Meron naman tayong ginagamit na tatlong present value in computing our lease liability. First is the PV of 1. Ginagamit natin ang PV of 1 if single payment lang siya. Next is the present value of ordinary annuity or tinatawag namin PIVOA. Ginagamit naman siya if ang payment natin is at the end of the year. Next naman is the present value of annuity due. Ginagamit natin siya if ang payment natin is in the beginning of the year.
Karon istoryahan ta naman ang reassessment kag lease modification. So ano ang reassessment kag lease modification? So first, reassessment is changes in the assumptions or estimates that were initially made. For example, changes in the residual value, changes in lease terms. Amo na siya ang reassessment. Ano ang lease modification? So ang lease modification is changes in the lease agreement itself. So meaning there is an amendment na i-change ang scope sa lease. So magkakaroon ka sa lease modification. So paano tayo ang reassessment? So first, intindihon taanay ang situation. So for example, there is a change in estimated lease term or whether or not to exercise the purchase option or not. So ang gamiton ta nga discount rate is katong revised discount rate. Next is, paano naman kung may changes in expected shortfall or changes in index rate or variable lease payment based on index or rate. So, ang gamiton ta is ang original nga percentage. Now, let's talk about accounting for lessor. Because may ara sa dalawa ka perspective in accounting lease, which is perspective ni lessee and lessor. Now, let's talk about naman ang perspective ni lessor. So, ano ang mga advantages sa pagiging lessor. So, una is cash inflows generation from properties. Ikadua, generation of rewarding interest margin. Number 3, stimulation of sales. Number 4, underlying assets, residual value, and lastly, increase in loan securities. In accounting for lessor, there are 2 types of leases. So, ang una is finance lease. Ikatwa naman is operating lease. So, paano ka ma-distinguish kung finance lease siya or operating lease? So, take note lang perme na ang finance lease is ma-distinguish mo siya if may aras ang transfer of risk and rewards. Ano ang mga risk? Risk are the possibilities of losses. Ang rewards naman, on the other hand, is the possibilities of gains. Yan siya. Then, to distinguish finance lease, so ang finance lease is there is a transfer of ownership of the underlying asset to the lessee. So, amo na siya ang isa ka condition sa so, ma-distinguish mo pa din siya kung finance lease. First, kung may aras ang transfer of ownership to the lessee. Next is kung may ara naman sa purchase option ang lessee. Next is kapag ang estimated useful life niya is, ang iyang lease term is 75% sa iyang estimated useful life. Then, kung ang future value niya is 90% sa iyang original value. So kung wala naman sa criteria sa finance lease, automatic ma-classify na siya as operating lease.
Lease modification came from finance lease to operating lease. We also have lease modification in lesser accounting. Modification arises from, so first, shortening of the lease term related to the useful life of underlying asset. For example, may RC 10 years na lease term, and sa kapit year sa lease term, nagbago ang iisip na lang ipatuloy ang lease term. So, drama arise from finance lease to operating lease. So second, the decrease in the present value of the lease payment related to the fair value. So sa finance lease, ang ato na present value ay 90%. So if mag-decrease ang ato na present value sa 90%, dahil mag-arise ang ato na operating lease. So third, the removal of the provision transferring the ownership over the underlying asset to the lessee at the end of the lease term.
Ma'am, pwede example.
So, for example, si Juan at si Maria nag-enter into agreement na at the end of the lease term, ipasa ni Juan ang ownership kay Maria. But before sang ilang agreement, bago ang isip ni Juan na hindi niya na lang magpasa ang ownership kay Maria. So, dira mag-arise ang finance lease to operating lease. So, last is the removal of the provision involving a party purchase option. So, sa finance lease, diatagan ta sa option to purchase. And mag-arise siya sa operating lease once na nagbago ang isip na dito na lang pag-purchase. So, accounting for this kind of lease modification. So, first, calculate the update balance of the net investment. Second, to recognize the updated net investment. No gain or loss will be recognized. And moving forward, the lessor shall recognize depreciation expense on the underlying asset and recognize rental income instead of interest income. Lease modification, operating lease to finance lease. So first, the recognize of underlying asset and recognition of net investment in the lease. And adding the balance of accrued rent receivable to the net investment in the lease or deducting the balance of unearned rent income from that investment in the lease. So lease modification, operating lease to finance lease. So first, the recognize of underlying asset and recognition of the net investment in the lease. And adding the balance of accrued rent receivable to the net investment in the lease or deducting the balance of unearned rent income from net investment in the lease. So that's all for IFRS 16.
Okay, Zolda, what is IFRS 16?